Welcome back to another series, another episode in our All Pro series. We are now on to the running backs. First team All Pro with Saquon Barkley. And what we're going to be doing for the running backs, for the quarterbacks, just for those that didn't watch, we did touchdowns under pressure, and we looked at some of their rushing touchdowns too. For the running backs, what we're going to do is 10-yard plus runs against a stacked box, and so 8 or more. And with the quarterbacks, like I said, there's a lot of different parts and skill sets that you could break down, but I just felt like how you operate under pressure tells a lot, especially when you get a touchdown, which is the ultimate. And for running backs, obviously, I mean, you can take it a lot of different ways, but I think conventional wisdom will tell you that a stacked box is harder to run against. And I could make an argument against that, and honestly, in this and with Derrick Henry, we'll see. It can backfire on you, but traditionally, a lot of guys in the box and still able to get a 10-yard run. Now, to me and to probably everybody in football, 20 yards is an explosive. That's more the measurement, but for whatever reason, the system with the film only does 10-yard runs. But, 10 yards is still good too, but 20 yards probably would have been better. But either way, we're going to look at that with Saquon. He doesn't have that many. He has 6. So we'll go through each of those, and yeah, that'll be it. And then the next episode will be Derrick Henry. So let's get, actually, I don't know if I changed the speed. I did not. All right. Let's go ahead. So we got Cleveland. I don't know what down this is. I guess it doesn't really matter. All right, so let's look at the box. That's kind of what this is based on. Obviously, you got 2 receivers, 2 tight ends. So the corners are out there. We got 4 down linemen. We got either a safety or a linebacker stepped up. We got another corner or safety, and 1 safety back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the box. So let's see what we get. We get a inside zone, it looks like. So now this one, as we can see, the offensive line gives some assistance on that. And it's exactly for 10 yards. So not the most explosive play, but still a good play. And this is going to be at full speed, but we'll still work it through. All right, so inside zone. Everybody steps down. They kind of make it easy. Boom, boom here. We're going to zone combo up here, step down there, boom, boom, boom. So this edge is the only thing left open. So we're going right through towards the B gap. The defender kind of knifes through that. So then you kind of turn it back up inside towards the A gap, which he does. And who is that? Whoever Jordan is blocking is doing a great job. 93. I do not know these players on the Browns off the top of my head, but he does a great job here, because if Jordan just got him right here and stayed right there, this probably could have popped pretty big. But since he pushed this all the way down and continued to close that, he made the space a lot tighter, so then people had time to get over there. But anyway, and then he almost, actually, that's not him. Sorry, I'm curious. This other defender too, he goes over the top, makes that initial contact. Now Saquon's able to keep his balance after that initial contact and continue to go, even though it's not a lot of space. But contact or balance through contact is a big. Why is this not moving? Balance through contact is a big part of being a top level running back. That's one of the skills you evaluate him on, and Saquon has some of the best. So take that contact, stay on his feet. Obviously he's still on his feet, and then the line kind of helps him. So Nothing too crazy, but still a good game. Right, looks like this is the Bengals. All right, we have our 4 linemen. We got 2 guys on the edge. So we got 6 plus our, that's not a linebacker, but we got 7. That might be the other corner. 8, so we got 9 plus the deep safety in the corner. And they're in a power formation anyway. And we see a nice game. This is definitely an end zone type of play. And they got big boys. They got extra edge guys and everything. They definitely came into this heavy front. Who is 57? Is that a linebacker or something? Well, either way, they got a heavy package. Of course, we got the tight ends, and then we got another big boy in the back. And really, this is let me see. That's Lane Johnson. Yeah, this is pretty much a split zone. So everybody's going to inside zone, lead this guy back here, and then he's going to peel back to take him out. So still kind of an inside zone, just a different handoff point. Sorry. So yeah, he's stepping, because usually you'll come right here to the B gap, which honestly, I'm not sure why they didn't do that. But you're trying to peel back and get him late is almost, now this is a split zone, but the way they execute it, it almost kind of works like a wham block. Well, wham would be inside, but a kick out, trap, whatever you want to call it. And so they're trying to get everybody to flow and then pop it here. And that honestly is kind of close. So Saquon, I mean, he gives a hesitation, but then he stays the course. So I'm going to just let this play out first. And then and that's acceleration. When you talk about skill sets, acceleration is going to be one of those that's up there with contact through balance. And they changed the full screen, so I have to come back out to change the speed, which I don't love, but I think it's necessary in these cases, because I don't want to keep pausing it. But anyway, we'll see Saquon press the thing, and this guy is not supposed to be there, so good job out of D-line again, kind of displacing that gap. But Saquon, patient, not running into the back of his lineman or anything, patient, waits for him to gain some ground for it to clear. Once he sees that's the gap, he makes that decision, just run full speed through and gets there. Classic running back technique, high level professionalism. All right, we're against the Bengals again. Same game. Let's see, we're in a condensed set again. Actually, let me back up, sorry. All right, let's look at, we got 3 down, 2 on the edge. We got another person walked up. So that's 6 plus 2 linebackers. So we got 8 in the box. We got a triangle back here. It looks like they run blitzed it too. Saquon's bouncing to the outside. I don't know. We'll see who that was, but that tackle attempt was funny. So it looks like they're in unbalanced, because here's Jordan, then we got an extra, or is that Makai? I don't know everybody's number, so no, this is the center. They're not unbalanced. Maybe somebody's hurt, I'm not sure. But either way, Jordan, that's not Jordan. What am I talking about? Is that? Jordan is 68. Okay, that's just a backup tackle. I don't know what I'm talking about. Either way, Yeah, it's just a weak zone. I'm not a fan of these, but you know, whatever. It makes sense though. So they're running inside zone left, but that B gap is closed. So we're coming to this backside. Now, as you saw, the linebackers blitz, so all the gaps are accounted for. So at this point, I'll tell you, Devontae's gonna have to make a good block because we already know he bounces outside. All the gaps are accounted for. So now, if everybody stays on their block, then you just got to get one-on-one with the next level. So right at the handoff, you can see the agility. Takes that step, bounces it to the outside. I guess the only difference is that you have a corner that's unblocked and sitting on the edge. So you expect, maybe he's gonna, well, not maybe, he's supposed to. He's supposed to be the force, which means you force the ball to go back inside and not outside of you. So sidestep, great sidestep. Has the explosion to get around that corner. Now you one-on-one at the next level. Who is that? Whoever 22 is just whiffed. I think, is that Geno Stone? Either way, he just whiffed. That was ugly. So really, again, the acceleration and the speed to capture the edge on a defender who's already there. Obviously, he takes a bad angle, but that's still great by Saquon, and he's able to break a tackle and just get as many yards as possible. All right, Jacksonville got the Kelly Greens out. Let's see, we got 4 down. We're in one of those tight formations too, so that's kind of bringing in the safety. But we got 4 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got everybody in this thing. Looks like, again, I don't know these names, so either, well, no, 5 is Cisco, so that's a safety. So this is probably a corner. So, but the other corner's in. So really, you just got a corner and a safety back. Everybody else is in the box. And Saquon with a big game. Let's go to the end zone view and see what happened. All right, we got a lot of tight ends. 3 tight ends, receivers reduced down. Looks like inside zone to me, nothing fancy. Good Lord. Lane Johnson just cleared that man. Alright, so we're in inside zone. Again, zone weak seems to be what they like to do. So they like to have the aiming point away from the zone. So it should be coming up here. Again, Lane, I mean, they don't end up going here, but if they did, that would have been all Lane Johnson. Not only does he clear him, but then he gets the next level too, seals that. But this linebacker does a good enough job to occupy that gap to where Saquon doesn't go there. So again, patience in the running, not just, downhill running into somebody. Reading the defense. So he sees, okay, not there. So he shuffles. Now I'm redirecting. And now he's looking here. We got decent blocks. And again, waiting to accelerate. Patience to accelerate. If he would have just ran, that probably would have got caught up. But since he waited, what you see in these plays, he gives his teammates, his blockers, time to re-leverage. They can get their leverage back. They can get their angle. They can drive, create a little bit more space. And now, once I see it, I can go. So what you've seen in all these runs so far is just pure vision. I think this is the last one. Nope, we got 2 more. So now we'll see some explosive plays. All right, we got the Commanders. We got 3, 4 set looking, so 5 plus linebackers, so 5 anyway, 8. Corners are off. Got a triangle, so we got 8 in this box. Again, a condensed formation. Now we're doing a toss play perimeter, and Saquon gets busy. So these it's good to see the sideline view, because you're not gonna see everything happening downfield in the end zone. All right, so obviously we're flowing to the perimeter. You got your last line of defense. Everybody else was in the box. This corner's with that receiver. So now at this point, obviously the cutback is how he gets downhill. I mean, he really could have. So actually, because the safety never even gets there, he's coming down to meet Saquon in this alley. Saquon just redirects. Good vision. So that safety never even really became a factor. All right. Some of these people getting dropped. It's kind of funny. All right, so let's go to the end zone view. All right, let's go to the end zone view, and we'll see what happens. So obviously we got tossed to the perimeter. We got everybody on the perimeter. Hold on. Trying to see why this guy. Oh, he just straight up fell. Okay. He just straight up fell, so that was nothing there. And we got second level capture. This is what really sets everything up. So anyway, the flow is heavy to the perimeter. They do a good job stringing it out, but like always, when you have anything to the perimeter and you string it out, you got to get ready for the cutback. And so again, Jurgens cleans this guy. Great angle from the beginning, cleans him. He's out of the play. So you got your backside DN. He's coming. Jordan's going to cut him off. Now, if he was trailing and playing this cutback properly, you would have had a play. But since he's just over pursuing and letting himself get cut off, because the safety's doing his job. The safeties, because everybody here, you're taking care of the perimeter. You're forcing it back in here. Safety's coming down this alley. Now you got to have cutback players. One's on the ground, one's over pursuing. And it's gone. And that's just great vision by Saquon and great blocking by the line. All right, this should be the last one. 72 yards against the Rams. All right, so let's see what we got. Again, we got the 3-4 set. A lot of these happen against these 3-4 sets. So 5 plus linebackers. We had 7. Both safeties are darn near in the box. They only got one receiver, so that corner's there. And it's interesting. I'll have to watch more, but I'm interested because they do a lot with one receiver, which brings in another defender to the equation, but it works for them. Ain't it so beautiful? All right, so let's see what we got. We got a counter. All right, so here's our alley defender, our safety. And that's who they're coming to pick up. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like I said, when you put so many people in the box, there's no safety net. So if those alley defenders get picked up, there's nobody there. All right, so let's get to the end zone view. All right, so let's show you what is happening. So again, we're gonna have a counter coming back this way. We got both safeties. We're pretty balanced. And the other thing is you run it to the receiver side, so that corner is all the way out wide. He's not really there to help. All right, so we got everybody's blocking down. That's pretty easy on those three. The tight end should come down onto this linebacker. He actually misses him. He actually doesn't really do anything. I mean, not anything, but he doesn't do what he's supposed to do. But that's fine. So the first puller kicks out the edge, which is verse, and then turns him, which is fine because I'm sure he was trying to cut off this gap. But either way, he's turned. And then the second puller, he's got the edge player. Now, what's supposed to happen, these guys should have been scraping over the top. So let's see who the hero is right here. It's actually Goddard, that tight end. I don't even want to say hero. Lake, I don't know why he got caught up with Goddard. Like, Goddard was barely blocking his guy. Lake should have just been over the top of this. But for whatever reason, he gets caught up with Goddard. And there you go. I mean, obviously, speed and acceleration. That's a play right there. All right. I think Saquon in his all-pro tape showed us how that vision is just so important. And honestly, you know, Saquon, he won a championship. He went crazy. He's on Madden. We not gonna do him dirty like that. We gonna look at some other touchdowns. Let's just look at a couple more. Which ones did we not see? All right, so against the Ravens. Let's see what he did to score against the Ravens. I should have changed the speed, but that's fine. All right, so we got 4 up here. So we got a 6-man box. I saw Jordan Poole. That's scary. Good Lord. Saquon is so downhill. All right. So we got that Poole. Got the linebacker. We got a hat on a hat. He's downfield. These guys are all now. So this is, again, I know some people might not want to get too into the weeds, but this is what makes difference between big plays, non-big plays, champions, not champions. So AJ is away from the play, so we understand that. But if all the receivers did what he did, this is not a touchdown. But because they are actually giving effort, showing, not to say he's not, he's not, but he's away from the thing. But play side, you gotta be selling a pass and you gotta block. That's why the 49ers had so many explosive runs. And so, as you can see, by the time Saquon breaks to the next level, these guys are wrapped up with their guy. They never even saw, so they're off balance. Safety is coming downhill to clean up. He just takes a bad angle, a terrible angle. He does not realize how fast Saquon is. And I don't know exactly 29. So yeah, you got to come down this alley. So you're on your gear now. And this is just a bad angle. He destroyed his angle. And then the corner tried to make that tackle. And it's too much power coming downhill for that corner to make that tackle. But up front, let's see what happens with the linebackers. So yeah, this is nasty. They probably was excited when they saw this. So they lined up and basically 22s, 33s, whatever. They left the center open. And so the center is free to get the backside linebacker, and obviously the pull is coming to trap the play side linebacker. And actually he runs himself right out of the play. And as good as Roquan is, it ain't much he could do. I mean, he actually almost made the play, But Jordan held him up enough. And again, you would be surprised how many running backs don't understand when to turn it on. It's also like in Madden and NCAA, at least the way they set it up, is that if you are running with the R trigger full sprint, as soon as you near the line, they get off the blocks faster. But so they encourage you to not sprint through the line. They encourage you to sprint once you see an opening. That's how it is in real life. Because if you just sprint through everything, you're going to be running into blockers. You're not going to have big plays. But there's times like this where it's like, okay, I have to go right now. This is a small window. And the difference between knowing when and when not to do that, that's what makes elite players. He knows I got to be full speed through there or Roquan's going to get me. That's a big time touchdown. All right, I think I'll leave it there. That's Saquon Barkley, first team All-Pro. Next up is Derrick Henry, second team All-Pro. Thank you for listening. Go down comment section. Tell me what you think. Share it around. And tune in to the next one.